If you enjoy this video, please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like what you see on my channel and would like to support me on Patreon, click on the link below. With the combined efforts of creator Larry Cohen, a highly imaginative man who was growing tired of television and on the verge of pouring his talents into low-budget horror films, and producer Quinn Martin, a serious man who was the leading force behind a number of 60s television shows which were formula-driven but very well produced police and detective dramas. He would have enormous success with the series The Fugitive, and with the series coming to an end in 1967, he needed a fresh new idea for a TV series. Larry Cohen would be the perfect working partner of producer Quinn Martin. Cohen would sketch out the basics of what would become The Invaders, which was inspired heavily by the 50s science fiction films like Invaders from Mars, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and the British film Quatermass 2. All these films were a part of a string of doppelganger movies, usually about aliens living among us in the form of humans who are planning to take over the world.
Well, I had always wanted to do that particular show, and that was basically inspired, I guess, by the Invasion of the Body Snatchers idea, concept, which I had seen when it came out as a B movie, obscurely played in New York many, many years ago, and the idea of aliens on Earth in human form I thought would be a good format for a television program. And also I'd been writing The Defenders and was very involved in political drama, and it seemed to me that using aliens who had infiltrated our society was a way of dramatizing the fixation of communist infiltration of the United States and the paranoia that was spreading across the country and was just coming to an end about communists everywhere in the government and everywhere in show business and in the motion picture industry. And we could somehow treat that in television by doing a show like The Invaders.
For The Invaders, producer Quinn Martin wanted a somewhat simple premise that would keep our hero, David Vincent, moving around, having to explain to authorities and institutions with great difficulty of the alien conspiracy and plan of taking over Earth right under our noses. Cohen said his original concept was to do The Invaders as a twice-a-week serial, something which the network borrowed from Cohen and ended up doing with Batman. He said his original idea was to take 2 segments a week and have a cliffhanger in the middle. When Cohen was given the go-ahead, he sketched out the basics of what became The Invaders. He created the protagonist, David Vincent, an architect who is driving home after a long day and gets tired and parks beside a deserted diner and witnesses a UFO landing. He tries to warn the public of the alien danger, but is seen as both paranoid and crazy. With his credibility ruined, he quits his job with the architectural firm and goes on the road, making it his mission to warn people of the alien plot to take over the world. Vincent is ridiculed, but keeps going on and gains some hope in the form of contacts in the press and the military, who are skeptical but agree to investigate any evidence that he can produce of the aliens' evil plan. Larry Cohen's basic plot used the Alfred Hitchcock formula, which added a great amount of suspense, with an everyman character we can all identify with, in the same way we could all identify with the everyman characters in Hitchcock films, even grabbing some plot elements and ideas from the Quinn Martin production of The Fugitive, featuring a wrongly convicted man on death row who escapes to search for his wife's killer. Cohen approached the ABC network and pitched his idea. He decided to pitch the idea as a different kind of soap opera, a hard-edged variant on the melodramatic and popular show Peyton Place, which was an early primetime serial that ABC launched in 1964. According to Cohen, Douglas S. Kramer would warm immediately to The Invaders concept and story. Cohen said, "I was commissioned by them to write the pilot as a half hour, and then I wrote about 15 storylines for future episodes of the series." Throughout the series, the Invaders' planet and origin was never revealed. Cohen said, They were very intelligent and very hard to kill, and very devious about hiding their identities and subverting themselves within the system. In the episode The Enemy, the dying mutated alien, played by actor Richard Anderson, reverts to his true alien appearance, unless the aliens receive treatments in what Vincent calls regeneration chambers. If they don't regenerate, they revert to their true alien form. The effect that was used when they die is a glowing red effect. After this, they would disappear and leave traces of black ash. On a few different occasions, a dying alien would touch a piece of their technology to prevent it from falling into the hands of the humans. The aliens would use a small handheld, disc-shaped weapon with 5 glowing white lights applied to the back of the victim's head or neck to induce a natural death. They also employ powerful weapons to disintegrate witnesses and vehicles. The only way to tell the invaders apart from the humans if their pinky finger was sticking out and bent at an angle, but by the end of the second season, the aliens do away with this defect. The aliens are usually emotionless, but some of the mutant aliens can show some emotions, similar to humans, and are even opposed to taking over the world. The aliens also have no pulse or heartbeat, and they don't bleed. The flying saucer design was influenced and inspired by 2 UFO photographs. The first case happened in 1965 in Santa Ana, California. On August the 3rd, the highway traffic engineer Rex Heflin took several pictures of a flying craft while working near the Santa Ana freeway. Heflin did not report his sighting, but the photographs were published by the Santa Ana Register on September the 20th, 1965. The second was the Adamski case. On December the 13th of 1952, in Palomar Gardens, California, George Adamski took a series of photographs through his telescope of a bell-shaped craft, today well known as the Adamski Scout Ship. For the invaders, a full-size UFO was never built. The saucer was a miniature, which was optically printed into the sky whenever it was shown flying. A full-size set that represented the landing legs was built for the long shots of people approaching the landing saucer. For these shots, the miniature was matted over the landing legs. Characters could even be shown climbing up into the UFO in tight shots of the land legs set. Apparently, the control room within the saucer was a semi-permanent set. The other areas within the ship changed in various episodes. For the main lead in the show, Roy Finnis was cast as David Vincent. Finnis was a member of Quinn Martin's stock company, appearing in a number of shows like The Untouchables, 12 O'Clock High, The FBI, and The Fugitive. He would appear in all 43 episodes of The Invaders. The show would feature many A-grade actors, including Diana Baker, Michael Rennie, Suzanne Plachette, Dabney Coleman, Anne Francis, Roddy McDowell, Karen Black, and Gene Hackman, to name a few. The show would definitely draw in the talent. Roy Finnis worked extremely hard on the show. He was beginning to feel exhausted from the grueling work schedule, and in one episode, The Spores, he doesn't have as much screen time and relied more on the episode's co-star. The show ran for just 2 seasons on the ABC network from 1967 to 1968. Every episode would have the mysterious opening with a distinctive narration by William Woodson, who was known for doing voices and narration for a number of shows, including the animated DC show Super Friends, the Marvel animated series Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and the opening narration of the animated series Battle of the Planets. In the opening of every episode, we could never forget who the producer was, because the opening narrator, Woodson, would utter the words,
"A Quinn Martin production."
So we would know it was going to be a quality show, and the guest stars of each episode would be announced.
The guest stars in tonight's story: John Larch, Carol Rawson, Frank Overton.
And the show's episode title would be announced also.
Tonight's episode: Genesis.
Quinn Martin's greatest strength as a producer was his devotion to production values. Martin would pay higher salaries to guest stars, and he would often recruit performers who rarely did television, and he shot on location extensively. He demanded quality, and when it was night, he would shoot at night. Quinn Martin's trademark seriousness was the final ingredient needed to make The Invaders a classic. It grounded the series in reality that made the show genuinely spooky, and the show had its own style, which made the show different from every other science fiction TV show.
I met with Mr. Martin, and he was so impressive. He had writers present. They were having a writers' conference, in fact, and no one had ever invited me to a writers' conference. And they were talking about the concept, and Quinn Martin said, I don't want a lot of special effects. I don't want to. He said, this is a study in paranoia. And now he's talking to me, the actor. I think, okay, that I can get behind, not just chase movies. Well, the picture painted there between the writers and Quinn Martin was of this wonderful adventure series, and with minimal silliness, because there were a few corny sci-fi shows on the air at the time.
The Invaders would make its debut on January the 10th, 1967, and was highly successful with high ratings. Reviews for the series were mixed, but were mostly positive. Variety said about the show, this kind of pulp fiction you just have to accept and enjoy for its profound innocence. Other reviews tended to be critical of the show, saying it was more fiction than science. The series also had great success in South America, Germany, and was very popular in Spain and the UK. Gold Key Comics published 4 issues of an Invaders comic book before Marvel published an unrelated Invaders superhero series. Mad Magazine even released a TV satire of the Invaders on June of 1968, titled The Invasioners. The thrilling but jarring music of The Invaders was composed by Dominic Frontier, who also provided music for the classic series, The Outer Limits, and the theme music for The Invaders was originally heard in the Outer Limits episode The Form of Things Unknown in 1964. Several seconds of footage from the opening sequence of the flying saucer approaching Earth from space was used in the opening of the series The Fantastic Journey in the episode The Innocent Prey, which aired on June the 6th, 1977. The pilot episode of The Invaders, titled Beachhead, was remade in 1977 for another Quinn Martin series called Quinn Martin's Tales of the Unexpected. Creator Larry Cohen found out he owned 50% of the film rights of The Invaders. ABC sold their 50% to Kuroko Pictures. Cohen would also sell his 50% to Kuroko. Kuroko unfortunately went bankrupt and sold the rights to Warner Brothers. A film version was supposed to be made and produced by Joel Silver, but that never happened. In 1995, The Invaders was turned into a 4-hour-long television miniseries remake titled The Invaders on Fox. In the miniseries, Scott Bakula starred as Nolan Wood, who discovers the alien conspiracy, and Roy Finnis, very briefly, would make an appearance as David Vincent. The Invaders inspired and influenced Chris Carter for his series The X-Files, which owed a lot to The Invaders. He paid deliberate homage to the show by casting Roy Finnis in 3 X-Files episodes titled Telifa, Kumi, Herrenvolk, and This Is Not Happening. Finnis played the character Jeremiah Smith, a mysterious extraterrestrial who has the power to heal. There were many other shows influenced by The Invaders. Thinking about The Invaders now, I can still hear that mysterious, jarring soundtrack in my head. My name's Jonathan. Thanks for watching.